Hi everyone, it's Christy from Artsy Bits by Kay. We are going to unbox the June Sketchbox today. So here it is. Time to see what we got and if it's worth it. Okay, let's go ahead and open this box from Sketchbox and let's see what's inside. You can see I did already take the tape off, and I won't lie to you, I was already in here because I actually forgot to film myself with the sticker. But I'm really excited about what's inside here. So we get this cool piece of art, which immediately told me we've got inks or something fun. But this piece of art is by Rain Fredrickson, based in Portland, Oregon. And it's thankyouletteringco.com is Rain Fredrickson's. He's the creative force behind Thank You Lettering Co. So that's pretty neat. I'll have to check that out. Check them out later. And here's what it says about our Sketchbox. We'll put that to the side and see what else is in the box. Okay. So right away we have Monami color twin brushes. There are 6 in here in the ocean blue set. Looks like we have a gray, 3 blues, a violet, and a pale mint. That's pretty cool. Those are nice colors to work together. We have a Zig brush pen white ultra fine water-based pigment. Ooh, it's a white water-based brush pen. Really interested to see how this works, if this works. We have a Sennellier ink brush pen in intense green, which is phthalo green. And here's the lid for it, but it looks like a really nice. Sennellier has great ink brushes. I feel like I've had at least one of these before, and it's been really fun to work with. And, okay, a Plume 2 pen in Suede. It's got a brush, a really long brush tip on that end. And it's got, oh, it's got a fine liner on the other side. Okay, so there's like a fine liner that we can use to outline stuff. That's pretty cool. And there is white paint on mixed Clairefontaine mixed media paper, 250 GSM, 20 sheets in 4x6 A6 size. And this looks like really nice thick paper. So if it's really good mixed media paper, that'll be really exciting. And I think that's it, other than the sticker. The sticker was like a little brush pen type dealio, and I stole it immediately to put it on my laptop. But yeah, so that's really exciting, and we will be back in a minute to set everything out and start swatching. Okay, so we have all of our supplies laid out here, and I have the paper. I'm actually going to just pull a piece off of this paper and put it right here so that I can work on it easier. I'll just set this to the side. And let's go ahead and test everything. I did grab a few extra things. I grabbed some black paper because I really want to test this white brush pen on black paper because it's going to be hard to see unless we go over other things, so I figured I'd test it there as well. I grabbed some water and a brush and a little ceramic palette that I have just because these are water brush pens and I want to see how well they work if we play with some of the water brush stuff too. So let's start with this guy. This is the Marvy Plume 2. I have used these pens before. They're not, what does it say the retail price on this one is? So it says the retail price on this is $2.59, and to be honest with you, in the past, my thing, I'm gonna use the fine liner first. The thing about these is they're nice, but I actually think that Tombow brush pens with the dual tip are nicer. I don't really need a fine liner when I'm doing brush marker stuff. So this is the Marvy Plume 2. And so, yeah, I mean, it'll be a nice fine liner for this particular project. But if I had the choice between this, which is $2.59, and a Tombow pen, which is $2.99, I'm probably going to pick the Tombow pen. This is a really stiff brush tip, which for somebody who's bad at lettering like me is fine. But like, look how long that brush tip is, and it's really stiff. So that just feels to me like I'm going to break it inside this little thing here. I feel like it's not gonna last for me. Okay, let's look at the Sennellier one. I did put it together, and I went ahead and squeezed it a few times just to get this nice and the tip. Oh, see, look at that. Sennellier makes great products. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful color. And then we can get some really fine lines. This is a very nice brush tip, and I'm not somebody that's like great with brush lettering, but I'm definitely going to try here to play with that a little bit. And let me go ahead and do a little tester like this, and then I'll immediately take my water brush, my paintbrush, and just go like this with it. See if I can blend it out on this cardstock. Wow, look how nice that is. Okay, so far this is amazing. I really like this a lot, and I'm pretty sure I could probably pick it up off the palette really easily and get a muted version of the same color. So that's really cool. So I like this a lot. I'm going to try to play with some of this stuff together in a little bit. All right, let's look at these, is it Monami or Monami? I don't know, but I'll say Monami for now. So we've got one end that's, again, a pretty long brush tip, but this one, I believe these are better. Yeah, these move a lot nicer than this the Plume one. They feel really nice. I like that a lot. And then on the other side, we have the same color, but I think a teenier, yeah, it's a teenier brush tip. So you can even get prettier things going on here. So yeah, really like that. So far this paper feels really good too. Let's just make sure this is clean. And then try to blend that out. Which, yeah, this is a lighter color, so the blending is definitely feeling a little bit harder. Let's see what happens if I scribble it. I'll use the bigger end to scribble it out on the palette. Oh yeah, you're getting a decent amount of pigment there though. And then if I go to pick it up, am I going to get a nice lighter version? Yeah, that works really well. And so far this mixed media paper is like pretty amazing. I really like it. I think this is going to be really fun to work with. All right, I'm going to go ahead and swatch the rest of these colors and then tell you kind of what I think about this color palette. It's a really nice, cool blue. I imagine I could merge these colors together pretty nicely. Same thing with, this is a warmer blue. And this is a darker, warmer blue, I feel. Yeah, so like those would go together nice. And I bet this purple will like make a really nice little, yeah, I feel like those colors are going to blend really nicely together. So let me just try first to do it dry. Oh, and the caps do go on the other end. There's a word to describe that, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, so I'm like going pretty hard on this paper here, and it's not really doing anything. But yeah, look how nice I got that to blend without water. And then I feel like if I added water to it, that they would blend really well. So I'll try that with the lighter colors. Let's see the gray. Stick it up here. It's a nice neutral gray. I feel like it's going to go really well with these colors as a shadow, if I wanted a shadow in the picture. So we've got a shadow, we've got outlines, and like a contrasting color, and then we're going to play with this white as a highlight in a second. So let's take these two. Are they labeled? That's one downfall. These are not labeled, so the only label I have is on the back of the box. So I'm looking right now at the Pastel Mint and I think the Sky Blue. But I wish there was some sort of label on these to tell me their names a little bit nicer. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go in with this guy. And now I'm going to add some water to the picture and see if water gives them a nicer blend. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, these are really nice brush pens. I feel like these are really going to work nice on my bullet journal. In general, let's see how that dries, but I think it's really going to be good. Okay. Now let's play with, I think this green guy is going to mix both nicely with the green and this blue that I'm holding. Let's try with the blue. So let's see how they go together. Like if I did here and then the green guy here. I feel like I'm going to end up doing something very oceany with this palette. And here, let me, yeah. I feel like it's blending like really nicely. Yeah. It's harder to see on paper, but that's without water. I mean, if I put a little water on it too, I feel like it really just has a nice color bleed. What happens if I get the paper wet? All right, so let's go up here and let's just wet this whole section of paper. And then I'm just going to touch it in spots with each of these different types of brushes. So I need to see where I wet the paper. All right, so I should be able to touch it here. Ooh, that was cool. All right, let's use the purple so it's like totally different in another corner. Here. This doesn't bleed quite as easily, but that's okay. It's still bleeding. How about the Plume, the Marvy pen? Sorry, I just need to see where I'm putting it. Interesting. So it feels, ooh, that one doesn't feel like it wants to bleed at all. Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter if I add more water to it. So yeah, I would say so far that like this is the weakest thing in the box. Definitely this feels like the weakest thing in the box. Alright, let's set this to the side and let's play with black on the white here. See if I can get this white to work. I already gave it. Okay, so I tested the white already, but it didn't film. So let me just go back and give you the highlights for the white. It seems very thick and very gouache-like. When I go on here with it, you'll notice that it's very opaque, but it's also not very, it's thick. So like when I give it more paint, it doesn't necessarily want to go easily to the tip. Now, if I get it a little bit wet, let's see if that helps. Okay, that seems to help with it a little bit, but you'll notice that like it's really a thick white here, and if I add water to it, I added water to it earlier just to show, you'll see that it moves. Not a ton, but it's definitely, so like if I go over the areas with more paint, you'll see how it moves. So it's definitely not waterproof, which is fine. This is a water brush box. But when I went over top, for example, of this guy here, you can see that it picked the pigment right up. Now if I go over it a second time, I'm getting something a little bit whiter, but I'm still getting these colors like on the white, and I'm not really getting a fine line. So it's going to be interesting to see how to use it, but see how it's gotten on the tip there. So even if I go like that, it's coming off of the tip of the marker. So it's almost like a white gouache in a pen, but I'm not sure. I feel like I'm going to have to play with this a little bit to really get it where I want it. Like if I use a really thin line, that seems okay. So maybe I can do it for like thin details. That might not be so bad. Let's see what happens if I go over this. Yeah, so it might do okay for thin details, for highlights. I'm going to play with this a little bit more. I feel like I might end up scribbling it on my palette and just picking it up like a gouache. Might be a fun way to use it. But so far, This paper is very excellent. This mixed media paper, I feel like it's going to be really fun to work on. I really like these brushes, and I think that we're going to have a really fun opportunity to make a neat piece. So we will come back and we will do some art. Okay, everybody, so here's my fun little art piece that I ended up with. I think it really did turn out nice. It's hard in this, with my lighting, to see the colors really well, but there are a lot of blues and purples in here that turned out really nice. But of course, the question, as always, there is, it's zoomed in, is it worth it? So let's go ahead through each product, and I can do a quick calculation here to see if it's worth it or not. So first of all, using the products was pretty great. This paper is really good mixed media paper. The last time that we were given, I think, these twin color brushes once before. I think in the November box, we had gotten them, and I had complained about them a lot then because the paper that they gave us was meant for alcohol markers. And the box was like half alcohol markers, half not alcohol markers, or like India ink or water brush. And none of those markers perform very nicely on that paper. But I do love the paper I got in that box and use it often for alcohol marker projects. However, these on mixed media paper, paper that's meant to take water, were phenomenal. They have a really nice brush tip. It is firm, but also loose enough that I think if you're a brush letterer, you'd like these a lot. They feel a lot like other high quality brush letter pens that I have. of course, the Tombow dual tip brush pen comes to mind. Always, always. But I really liked these. Now, Monami is a Korean-based company, and they're primarily a office supply company, stationery company. So they're not a traditional art supply company. So it was hard to find pricing on these markers, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This Sennellier ink brush is incredible. I love it. It is juicy and awesome, and I see here that it is like leaking into the cap, so we'll have to see about that, and maybe because I had it sitting on its side, but overall I really, really liked this. I like the color. This will be something great for me to use with mixed media projects in the future. I am still trying to figure out if I like this or not. It did make some really nice opaque white inside this picture, but it was definitely thicker than what I like to work with, but I'm going to keep playing with it. I think that I always like it when they add something that's a white highlight to a box, so I'm really glad that they added this. And this guy is the loser for me in this whole box. I don't like this marker. I don't like the little Plume 2 markers. I don't like the little Plume markers in general. I feel like this brush tip is like way too, it's really stiff, and it's really long, and it's not that high of a quality. I don't particularly care for the fine liner on the other end of it either. It's okay, but I would prefer the finer tip like that you get on a Tombow brush pen. This pen's retail was $2.59, and a Tombow marker is $2.99, so I would much have preferred the extra 30 cents go up to a Tombow brush marker. All right, so let's talk about whether or not this box was worth it. So Sketchbox, I think, overvalued themselves a little this month. So let's just go through and add up what they say that this box cost. Okay, I went ahead and did some calculations here, and Sketchbox values this box at $62.03. I think this is an overvalue, if I'm being honest. So if I look here at the prices, I checked 3 places for prices. I checked Blick, Jerry's Artorama, and Amazon. I also looked at Michael's but didn't find anything in this box for any kind of different pricing there. And for the Monami, so sorry, if I hold this here, you can see which is which. I'll do that. So if I'm looking here, I couldn't find the Monami twin brush set almost anywhere. For the Woodland set on Amazon, it was $11.40, and they're valuing that at $27.50. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that probably I would pay about $16 to $18 for a set of those twin brush markers. Again, they were good quality, but they weren't better quality than a set of Tombow markers, which is, I mean, for 6 Tombow markers, that's about what I would pay. The Sennellier ink brush was great. They valued it at $8, but I found it on both Blick and Jerry's for $4.93. So I would definitely pay around $5 for it. That's a couple dollars difference. The Plume brush marker I did find was valued correctly. Amazon had it for $6.15. Please don't pay that for that marker. Please don't pay that for that marker. The Zig brush was $10.99 at 2 different places. And then the Clairefontaine mixed media pad, they didn't have a direct comparison because it is a Sketchbox exclusive. However, at at Blick, they had a 6x8 pad of the same paper for $7.99. So I don't think it's overpriced, and I didn't check to see how many pages it was, though I would imagine it was probably a comparable amount of paper to what we're getting in this box. I know Clairefontaine works with a lot of the companies that do art subscription boxes, and they always seem to produce a really good product, so I feel like that was probably pretty well valued. But overall, when I did my calculation, I could get this box for $42.50, which I paid $40 to get this box in the mail. So is this really a value for me? I don't think so this month. I really like the products. Again, I'm getting the opportunity to play with things I wouldn't normally pick up at the store. The Monami particular twin brushes are not something that I would be able to pick up. And even though I liked them more this time around, I still think that I prefer the Tombow twin brushes better to them. I think there are available water brush options out there water-based pigment brushes, sorry, out there that really do the job just as well as they do. Not that they're bad and not that I won't use them, but just that I think that's the case. So overall, I'm still excited. I will still use all of these products, and I will continue to get Sketchbox because I definitely think there have been other months where I got way more than my value. So I hope that you really enjoyed this, and that's it.